Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Katherine Wingy. Today we're going to do kind of a wringing out tension from the back. Today we're going to need a chair, a strap, and a block or some books, something to make your arms a little bit longer. We're going to start in a seated position and just take a moment and check in. How are you doing? How are you doing right now? How does your body feel? Your mind? What mood are you in? And I invite you to think of an intention you'd like to set for yourself today for class, and potentially maybe even an intention that you could carry with you throughout the day. Distill it down to one word like strength or peace. And then we'll bring our palms together. And we'll seal in this intention with 3 ohms. Really nice way to lengthen your breath. So take a slow breath in. And then releasing your hands to your thighs, roll your shoulders. And then broadening your chest, release your shoulders away from your ears, lift your heart vertically and lower your head to your chest. Keep your chest broad as you roll your left ear to your left shoulder, and pause here for 3 breaths, maybe in stillness or with some movement, anything that would help open up the right side of the neck, giving yourself a nice stretch in the right side of the neck. And then rolling your chin down to your chest, head heavy off to the right. Now we're inviting a stretch to the opposite side. For about 3 breaths, what feels good? How do you open the left side of the neck here? And then the chin comes back down to chest, head lifts. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And grab the right wrist with your left hand. Keep your right hip heavy on the seat as you side bend to your left, breathing into the right side of the trunk. Good, and then come on back. Try to get your biceps somewhat in line with your ears. As you side bend off to the right, breathing into the left side trunk. Stay heavy in that left hip. And then inhale, come on up and release. Take your block, place it, I would say about on its second highest setting here. And I'm just going to show you my side view. Actually, let me go this direction. The lighting is better. Okay. Take the block, place it in front of your feet. And you want to make sure that enough of your bum is on the chair so that we're going to fold over and that you're not going to fold over and fall off the chair. So on an inhale, reach up, and then exhale, thighs together, feet together, hands on block. Inhale, extend your spine, look forward. Exhale, thighs together, fold forward. Inhale, come on up. Now imagine there's a piece of paper that you're trying to hold with your thighs. Hold that piece of paper together, and we're gonna inhale, reach your arms either forward or up, your choice depending on what's going on with your shoulders. Exhale, put a little more weight in your feet. Like I'm going to ask you to stand up on those feet. Feel your glutes work. It's really nice to, strong glutes can help support your back. So strengthening the glutes, strengthening the legs. You want to turn on those booty muscles. And then with an exhale, bring your left arm to the outside of opposite leg. Left arm is going to be like a lever. Right hand on hip. Lift your right shoulder as you rotate your heart to the thigh. Squeeze your piece of paper between your knees. Maybe leaning the head and heart back. And then exhale, reach forward. Inhale, reach up if that's okay for your arms. Squeeze the piece of paper. Exhale, twist the other side. Left hand to hip, lift the shoulder, left shoulder. Leaning maybe the head back, squeeze that piece of paper. Press the feet into the floor. Last breath. Inhale, untwist, either reach up or forward. Exhale, hands to the block, press into your feet, and now lift your bum off the chair, take a forward fold. On the next inhale, walk your hands up your thighs above your knees and look forward, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold, gaze at the knees. And then bend those knees and roll on up. Mountain pose. Take your feet about hips width distance apart, so generally about a fist's width distance apart underneath you. Inhale, reach the arms up. Grab a hold of your left wrist. Let's side bend to the right. Slightly rotating your heart to the left. Heavy in both feet. And then inhale, come on back up. And side bend, opposite direction, holding opposite hand. Feel the breath move. Come on back up. Release. Okay, let's bring that block back in front of the feet once again. We're going to inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, bending the knees. Make sure your toes and knees are pointing the same direction. Bend those knees and have a seat in the chair. Palms together. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, fingertips to the block. Inhale, broad chest, look forward. Thighs are moving towards each other. Exhale, press into the feet, lift your hips, forward fold. Gaze at the knees. Okay, pausing here, walk your feet just about a fist's width distance apart underneath you. So about generally hips width distance. And for this, I encourage you to bring your block to a higher setting, just a little bit higher. You're going to put more weight in your right foot and straighten the right leg as you bend the opposite knee a little bit. Right hand to hip. We're going to move the stretch into the outer right hip. Now, lift the right shoulder as you drop the left. Stretching out the outer right thigh. So right knee is straightening, left knee is bending. For the last round of breath, if this feels good for you, if you want, you always can reach that right arm up overhead, but not at the expense of your breath. And then both hands to the block. Second side, bend your right knee, left knee straightens, left hand to hip, lifting left shoulder towards the sky. Really extending the spine here, broad chest, almost like you're leaning your head and heart back. Please feel free to stay here, or if this is really helpful to you to lift that left arm up overhead, you can do that. Listening to your body, meeting yourself where you are today. Weight in that left foot. On the next exhale, both hands to the block, gaze at your knees. Half forward fold on the inhale, hands to shins or thighs, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Good, and then now From here, I'm gonna have you cross your right arm over left and hands on shoulders. Bend your knees. So now your hands are on your shoulders, right elbow is on top of left elbow. Let your shoulder blades part as you round your spine. Head hangs down, rolling up. Press your feet to the floor. Head's last thing to come up, rolling up. Here we are in eagle arm prep. Move the shoulders away from each other to broaden the chest and lift your heart. So your chest is getting broad, your heart is lifting, so your neck is hopefully lengthening, ears over shoulders. So not only is the back broad, but the chest. Feel your tummy drawing in, neutral pelvis. Okay, so we have our right arm over left. We're going to come back down the way we came up, bend those knees, rolling down, exhale. Crossing left arm over right. Knees bend, roll on up. Head hangs. Come on up, broaden chest, eagle arm prep. Lift heart, ears over shoulders, neutral pelvis as your low belly pulls in. Feel your feet on the floor and breathe. Good, come on back down the way you came. Tuck the chin, rounding, bend those knees, hang like a rag doll. Release the arms. And then come on back up. Regular old mountain pose, arm alongside the body. Palms together, return to your intention that you set for yourself today. Take a breath in, breathe in your intention for yourself. Exhale it out for the planet. Good. Really staying the arms alongside the body. Roll your shoulders forward, up, back, and down the back. Bring the back of your right hand to the back of your pelvis. So just below the low back, like so. And then dip left ear towards left shoulder. And rolling the head back in space a little bit. That feels okay. Sending the stretch into the right side of the neck. And then head turns to look over left shoulder. Moving shoulder blades onto back. Good, come on back up, head to neutral position, arm alongside the body. Let's do second side. Back the left hand to the back of the pelvis. Shoulder blades move together behind you as you tilt the head to the right, head heavy. Move the heads of the shoulders back. Let your jaw soften. Lean the head back a little bit in space. And then turning the head to look over right shoulder. Shoulders move back in space, chest broad, low belly in, neutral pelvis. Last breath. Good, head back through center and release. Roll those shoulders. Okay, so we're going to take a chair dog using the help of our chair. Now, if you've got some frozen shoulders going on, you could have your hands on the chair and then just bend the elbows and do a chair dog like this. So the forearms are parallel. Now, if you could do a regular dog, go ahead and step back. Now, elbows are straightening. And bend those knees here. Toes and knees pointing the same direction towards the chair. Bend those knees and then reach your tailbone away from the chair a little further. Really create a lot of space between each vertebrae here, tractioning the spine. Last breath. Good, and then we'll step the right foot forward, come into a lunge with the help of our chair. Now, we got our hands on a chair, but I don't want you to, throughout this whole sequence, use the chair like no weight on the legs. So like I would say mostly weight all in the legs. The chair's here as like emotional support. So from here, your back heels up, your right knee is bent over the heel. And we're going to come in and out of this variation of a lunge and into a variation of half splits or Hanumanasana, Ardha Hanumanasana. So this is the inhale, you look forward. Exhale, straighten the front leg, peel the right toes towards the knee, feel the stretch. Inhale, come back to the beginning position. You're in a high heel in the back foot. The right knee is over the heel, look forward. Exhale, peel it back, fold forward any amount that feels healthy. And then moving with your breath. For some people, if you bend your front knee beyond that front heel when you come into the lunge, it could cause some problems or just discomfort in the knee. So I'm going to ask you keep that knee as you bend it over the heel. Let's do that one more time. Okay, now here we are, pressing into the feet, almost like you're up on the fingertips here, mostly legs. Left hand to the chair, left hand to the corner of the chair, right hand to hip. We want to keep our pelvis square facing this chair, but lift the right shoulder and rotate heart towards the right thigh. So rotating the heart to the right, strong legs, really pressing that front foot into the floor. Hopefully you're feeling some burning in the right thigh, right leg, right? Burning as in strength burning, right? Not nerve pain. Lean your heart back, head back a little bit. If you want, for the last round of breath, you can reach that right arm up overhead, your choice. And then let's step back to that dog pose. Taking your variation, extending the hips back. If you like that knees bent while you did it, please do it. Some folks enjoy a good straightened leg here. Take 2 more rounds of breath. And then step the left foot forward. Coming into a lunge, second side. Again, all legs, emotional support with the hands, right? And then we'll move in and out of lunge and Ardha Hanumanasana variation. So exhale is straightening the front leg, folding, toes peeling back. Inhale is the lunge. Keep moving with your breath, maybe slowing the breath down if that feels good. Okay, next time you come into that lunge, pause there, just check your alignment, knee over heel, that front knee, right? Back heel, you're wearing high heels. Square the pelvis towards that chair. And right hand on the chair, emotional support style, left hand to hip. Feel your breath. Maybe leaning the heart and head back a little bit, feeling that left leg, cultivate some strength. Strengthen the left hip. And of course, if you like to lift that left arm, please go ahead and do it. About 1 more round of breath. Coming back to dog pose, step it back. Okay, walk forward, come on up to stand. Let's move our chair out of the way for a moment. And we're going to meet on our tummies for some back bends, but first let's take just a nice crocodile pose. Taking a break, take the feet wide, stack the hands, forehead on the hands, and really let your belly soften into the mat. Particularly on the inhale, feel it expand into the mat as you inhale. And feel the whole body settle into the earth as you exhale. Couple rounds like this. Good. Now just kind of feel into the quality of relaxation in this pose. So just kind of hold in your mind and your body the snapshot of the heaviness of your bones here, the relaxed quality of your glutes and your back.
And I'd like you to come back to this relaxed quality, this quality of surrender in between each locust pose that we do linked up with our breath. So let's start with arms alongside the body. Walk your feet closer together, about hips width distance, or maybe toes together if you like. Forehead to the mat. Exhale completely. Release your bones to the floor. And when the inhale starts to arrive, you start to lift the legs, lift the arms nice and slow, like you're inflating a balloon, inhaling. Gazing to the top of the mat, feel the strength at the top of the inhale. Exhale, slowly release, melt to the floor, release your bones to the planet, left side of the face to the mat, relaxed. When the inhale arrives, engaging the back body nice and slow. And the most intense part of engagement is the top of the breath. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then as you exhale, slowly melting, melting, melting. Right side of the face to the mat. Let's do that once more on either side to the rhythm of your breath. Remembering that quality of relaxation, complete release in between each locust pose. Good, and then bring the forehead to the mat. Bring your hands on either side of your chest, very close to your chest on the mat. Elbows hug in and bend, preparing for some variations of cobra pose. So on an inhale, you're gonna lift your chest and bend your right knee. On your exhale, bring your left side of your face to the mat, release the foot to the floor. On the inhale, lifting back up, chest, bend your left knee. A little hamstring curl here as you do this. Keep the knee on the mat, you're just bending it. And then exhale, releasing right side of the face to the mat. Do that one more time on either side. Nice and slow engagement. If you're starting to cramp, go easy on yourself. Maybe don't squeeze so hard. Keep the knee on the floor as you bend. Good, and then release. Forehead to the mat, arms alongside the body. Shimmy your hips, releasing any engagement or tension in the back. Couple choices here now. If you can't put weight on your knees or your hands, slowly flip over and draw one knee into the chest for 3 breaths, and then the other knee into the chest for 3 breaths. If you can, bring weight to your hands and knees. Let's do some Chakravarkasana. Inhale, come on up, hands and knees. We're moving back and forth from cow pose to child's pose. Inhale is the back bend. Cow pose, chest and belly to the floor, head and tail lift. Exhale, navel to spine. Drop your head nice and slow, rear to heels. Release the forehead to the planet. And then the inhale coming back up again into the back bend. Shoulders over wrists. Cow pose, lifting head and tail. Exhale, navel to spine, round the back, drop your head. Reaching hips back, chest to thighs, elbows to mat, head to planet. One more on your own. And we meet in child's pose. Those of us who can be on hands and knees, take about 3 breaths. Those of you on your back, just hug both knees now into chest, breathing slow and deep. Good, come on back up.
Take your time to transition back into the chair. Have your block nearby. Okay, so we're going to do that variation of chair pose in the chair, right? So we have enough of our bum in the seat so we don't feel like we're going to fall forward when we do it. Have your thighs and your feet together best you can. You're holding a little piece of paper between the knees. On an inhale, put weight in your feet, reach your arms either just forward or up, your choice. Pause here for the exhale. Feel the weight in your feet. Like I'm going to ask you to stand up right now. Feel the glutes work. Feel the thighs work, the legs work. One more inhale here. And then exhale, let's turn it into the twist. Left arm straight down, right hand to hip. Maybe sliding that left shoulder towards the thighs a little closer, maybe. Feel it out, what feels appropriate. Lean your head and heart back. On your next inhale, untwist, reaching arms either forward or up. Exhale, second side. Feel the weight of your body and your feet. Leaning the head back. So we're in a twist, but our legs are really engaged. It has this beautiful quality when we're bearing weight on our legs of helping release tension in the low back. Lean the head back. Squeeze that piece of paper between your knees. And then inhaling, arms up. Exhale, fingertips to the block or the floor, whatever you like. We're going to come into a standing forward fold. Sliding off the chair, lift your hips, forward fold, gaze at your knees. Let those knees stay bent. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, come on up nice and slow. Stand up, reach up. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart, standing tall. Come back to your intention. Breathe it in for yourself. Breathe it out for the planet. Good, release your arms. So let's turn around and face the chair now. Okay. We're going to come into a variation of triangle pose. Step your right foot back behind you. Left toes will be pointing towards the chair. Right toes are turning in. Your heels are on a tightrope, so all on the same plane. Send your hips to the right as you bring left hand, emotional support style, right, to the chair. And right arm reaches up. Now really press the ball of the right foot, the left foot into the floor, right? Both feet are pushing down into the mat, but particularly that left foot. And here it's going to get a little freaky here. So bring the right bicep by the right ear. And usually, you're twisting your heart to the right. I'm going to have you rotate your heart to the left. So you're kind of looking down towards that left foot. And then from your reach out of the waist with the top arm. So you're kind of arcing your right side body towards the chair, letting the right shoulder drop towards the floor a little bit, sending the stretch into, you might feel this like in the QL area. Feet are strong, legs are strong. Good, and then we're gonna pivot to face the chair. Both hands on the seat of the chair. Lift your back heel, we're pivoting on the feet. Now come into that lunge once again. Strong legs, just fingertips tickling the seat of the chair. Back heel is up. Both toes are pointing forward. Let's move into that revolved lunge like we did earlier. Right hand to the chair, left hand to the hip. Rotating heart to the left. Lift your left shoulder. Strong left leg. Really feel the strength building in that left hip. For the last round of breath, if you want, you're welcome to lift that left arm. Don't have to. Lean the head and heart back. And then left hand to the chair. Step back, dog pose. Walk the feet forward, standing in front of the chair. Let's do the second side from the top. Step your left foot back behind you. Left toes are turning in, left heel is kind of pointing to the back of your mat. Check that right toes pointing forward. You're on a tight rope. Hip swing left, right hand touches chair, triangle pose. Pressing that right foot into the mat. And then here, left bicep over ear. And drop that left shoulder down a little bit towards the floor till you feel a nice stretch, healthy stretch in the left side trunk. Like I'm feeling kind of like a fascial, like a real tight kind of fascial stretch in the left side body here from my left hip bone or the top of my left pelvis all the way through. I got the QL, the intercostal muscles, the muscles between the ribs. Breathing into those tight places, supported by the strength of your legs. And then pivot, face the chair, come into that lunge, back heel up, bend the knee, front knee over that heel. Hands just tickling the chair, right hand to your hip, rotate, right shoulder lifts, left shoulder drops. Make sure that right knee stays over the right heel. Leaning the head and heart back, adding the arms if that gives you joy. Really nice and strong in the legs. And then turning on those muscles to help release tension in the low back. And then step back, chair dog. Feeling your breath move. Bend those knees. Extend your hips away from the chair. So the knees are slightly bent, just so we can give a little bit more slack to the back and work on keeping a broad chest wherever we are. Reaching those hips back, back, back. Good, and then walking the feet forward, coming on up to stand, mountain pose. Return to your intention. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Breathe it in for yourself. Breathe it out for the planet. Good. Okay, so locate your strap. I'd like you to bring your strap back behind you and hold on to it so your thumbs are pointing away from you. And then with the knees just slightly bent, just so this doesn't cause the hips to swing forward. Knees are slightly bent. Start to rip the strap apart behind you. So arms are straightening. Good. Now, how close your hands are on the strap just depends on what's going on with you. You'll probably need to bring the the hands a little further apart. If you notice that the fronts of your shoulders are still coming forward, you feel like you're not able to stretch the chest. So maybe you need to go further so you can bring those shoulder blades onto the back. Little micro bend of the knees, lift the heart. Let's take 2 more breaths. Shoulders moving down, heart moving up, head moving up, base of skull moving up. Rip the strap and release. Good. We're gonna roll the shoulders for a moment, loosen it up. Okay, let's move on to the floor. We're gonna come onto our back. You can move your chair off to the side now. You can have your strap nearby. Bend the knees, feet on the mat. Arms alongside the body, preparing for bridge pose. So before we come up, I'd like you to roll the right shoulder blade underneath the body, left shoulder blade underneath the body. Grab a hold of the edges of the mat, either edge. And as you press your feet down into the floor and gaze at the ceiling, try to rip the mat apart underneath you. Feel the base of your big toe press into the floor. The heels are in the floor. Thighs are moving towards the center line of the body. Glutes engaged. So we'll be here for a couple more breaths, trying to reach our heart and knees away from each other. So the knees move away from the heart moves away from the knees. Stretching the trunk like taffy. Last breath. And then exhale, release the hips to the mat and take a rest for a moment. Just keep those knees and thighs together. Walk your feet away from each other so that the inner thighs spiral in and help broaden the upper back. Good. Now floating cobblers. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Reach between the legs. Grab a hold of either the ankles as you part the knees, or interlace the fingers around the feet. So your legs are in that cobbler's position. Releasing the pelvis, releasing the belly. Good. Release your feet to the mat now. Locate, I'm ahead of myself. Bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Let's come into reclined pigeon pose. So reach right arm between the legs, left hand rendezvous with right hand behind the thigh of the left leg, or maybe the shin of the left leg, pulling the legs close. Take a look at that right foot, the top one. Peel the toes towards the kneecap. And in a reclined pigeon, if this feels like real stressful for the neck and you're like trying to just hold the legs, do yourself a favor, slide a block or a book underneath that bottom foot and just relax. Let the pose work on those hips as you release the head to the floor. Let's take a couple more breaths. Good, go ahead and release the bottom leg to the mat, the left leg, and lasso the right foot. Extend the foot towards the sky. We'll stretch out the back of the right leg. So if you are feeling a lot of tension in your low back, sometimes it can be caused by tightness in the legs. So that could be a place where you could start. You just lay on the back, grab yourself a belt, do this. And then it's nice to move the stretch around the hip too. So we'll swing the bottom leg open, kind of like half cobblers, and swing the right leg open. So resting the right elbow on the mat. You still want this leg active. So please don't let your whole body kind of collapse to the right. You want to, both sides of the pelvis are equally into the mat. You're reaching your inner right heel away from the groin. Toes of right foot are peeling back towards the knee. Good. And then come on back through center. Bottom foot is on the floor now. We're going to move the stretch into the outer right hip, just like we did earlier. Foot floats to the left a little bit and hook the right hip with your thumb. Like it's going to disappear into that hip crease. And then you're going to wrap that outer hip away from the face. So it's kind of pinning this stretch down from the outer right hip to the foot. Both sides of the pelvis are on the mat. Good, and then come on back through center. Let's do it from the top, second side. Left ankle on top of right. Recline pigeon. Finding your variation. Take a look at the top foot, peel the toes towards the knee. Release the belly, release any unnecessary tension in the pelvis. Last breath here. Good, and then release the bottom foot. Lasso the top one, that's your left one. Reach the heel towards the sky. Feel the stretch. And so for some of you, maybe the leg doesn't go straight up. You could just keep the leg straight, but have it on a diagonal, right? You can, as long as you're feeling a good stretch, a healthy stretch. And so like a unhealthy stretch, besides just maybe not being, you're like, this isn't healthy. Maybe you feel the stretch kind of like centering around the back of the knee. That wouldn't be ideal. Or maybe where the hamstring connects into the hips. That wouldn't, you don't want like really intense stretches in either of these areas. You want to feel more of like a broad stretch in the body and the bulk of the muscles. Okay, let's swing it open. Let's stretch the inseam. Swing the leg open. Reaching the inner left ankle away from the groin. Lots of work here. Strong left leg. Back of the pelvis is balanced on the mat, both sides. Good, and then come on back through center. Right foot is on the mat, and we'll float the foot off to the right a little bit, a few centimeters, maybe a few inches. Take your left thumb, hook it. It disappears into that hip crease. And then wrap that hip away from the face. Nice and gentle. Go easy on yourself here. Reaching through the heel. Breath stays slow and steady. Good, and then come on back through center. Come back to that floating cobbler. So knees wide, grab a hold of the outside of the feet or the ankles. And perhaps if it would feel nice, you could always go into a happy baby pose. You can do happy baby holding the ankles if you flex your feet, or maybe you can grab the outer edges of the feet. So taking a few rounds of breath, releasing your low back into the mat, and floating cobblers is always available too, if that feels like a better fit right now. Good, and then release your feet to the mat, extending the legs, backs of the hands spill off the mat. Drawing shoulder blades flat underneath you, moving shoulders away from the ears, and then just making sure that the back doesn't feel too tight. If you're feeling like the low back is pretty high off the mat, maybe you lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Let's stretch the face long. So open mouth wide, lift your eyebrows. Stretch the face wide. And make a really big smile. And then just move the muscles of the face, creating some more circulation. And then soften and relax the face. Close the eyes. Shavasana. If you can and would like to stay a little longer in Shavasana, please do. If you need to move on with the rest of your day, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Exhale completely. When the inhale arrives, give yourself a big morning stretch. And then slowly, one knee at a time, draw into chest. Give yourself a hug of gratitude, taking this time for yourself. And then rolling slowly to one side. And taking your time coming up to a comfortable seat of your choice. Meeting with palms together in front of the heart. With once again, check in. How are you? How are you doing? And if you're able to cultivate any pleasant feelings, any feelings of relaxation or strength, then I invite you to dedicate the benefits of your practice to someone or someone's special in your life. So imagine these beings or being wherever they are in their day, whatever they're doing right now. Imagine you could just kind of blast them with feelings of goodness, and we'll do it with the breath. So on an inhale, you'll gather up all the benefits of your practice, and on the exhale, you'll send it out. So breathe it in, send it out. See them wherever they are, feeling good. Thank you so much for practicing today. Namaste.